Hi everybody, this is Erin again, and I just wanted to share a short video with you about how to choose a color scheme for your room or home edit. So going back to grade school, all of us probably remember the beautiful color wheel. You can use this a little bit when you're thinking about your design and some of the most popular color schemes that you could choose from. The first being monochromatic. Monochromatic is using one hue, and then as you can see in this diagram, we have a navy, a medium blue, and even that bright sky blue. So all of those are used in a monochromatic color scheme. You can choose from all of those. It's really one hue, and then you can use a tint by adding white or a shade by adding a darker, brown or black tone to the hue. And even you can tone up or down the intensity by adding gray. So that will give you all these different variations of one hue that you can use in a color scheme. And here's a couple examples of some monochromatic color schemes. The first in the top right, you can see a really natural, almost neutral color scheme, but it is monochromatic, just using beiges, whites, creams, and a little bit of brown. So that's one way to go. In the bedroom scene at the bottom, they're really using different tones and shades of purple, and then another neutral color, this taupey neutral cream color as an accent. So I love monochromatic themes. They can be really impactful. You probably don't want to use it throughout your house because it could become a little bit mundane if you have such a strong color and just that one color throughout your home. But in one special room or a guest room or an office, it can be a great accent, even like a powder room or bathroom. An analogous color scheme uses colors that are right next to each other on the color wheel. So here we see orange and red being used together. One of my favorite analogous color schemes would be green and blue. In this picture, you also see some yellow added in. But if you think about it, green, blue, yellow are all right next to each other on the color wheel. But they can be really warm, inviting. It's not as energizing as, say, some of the later color schemes I'm going to talk about. So again, going back to monochromatic and just having one type of color scheme, it's going to be more calm. This adds a little bit more energy because you have two colors that are right next to each other, but it's still an overall calm vibe. In this, I could talk to you about cool colors and warm colors also, but those blue, green, purples are more on the cool side. Those are going to be having a cool, calming effect on your space. Whereas if you go to the warmer colors, that's going to be more bold, exciting, energizing. So you can also choose from which side of the color wheel and the energy that it's going to exude. But analogous can be any two color schemes, like I said, right next to each other. A complementary color scheme are colors that are opposite each other on the color wheel. And it could be directly opposite or it might be close to opposite on the color wheel. A very famous complementary color scheme is Christmas colors, of course. So you have red and green that are directly across from each other on the color wheel. A couple complementary photos here that you can see on the top right. You have this turquoise that is in the bedside tables, complemented by its opposite, this yellow-green tone that's going to be opposite on the color wheel. And then same for at the bottom, this pink-purple theme with its opposite color, which is going to be this gold-yellow. So complementary does add a bit more vibrancy. You can see that they're not using hot turquoise and hot yellow or like a neon yellow in this. So even within the complementary color hues that you're choosing, you can tone them down and gray them down a little bit so that they're not as bright and popping, or you can tone them up. You can have more of that pure intensity. So you even within a complementary scheme or whatever color scheme you're choosing, you can choose how bright or how grayed out it really does look. Next would be a triad color scheme where you're choosing 3 colors that are equidistant from each other on the color wheel. And here's an example of a triad. Having this blue, yellow, and red, that would be a triad. They've also added some colors that are nearby, so a more turquoise blue and a more purpley pink color that are going to be opposite each other on the color wheel. So how can you choose to find a color scheme? Maybe you already have a color scheme in mind. Maybe you already have a color scheme going in your space. That's great. A couple ways that you can find a pre-made color scheme for you could be picking out a piece of art. So this is a color scheme I'm using for my office. This was a piece of art, a canvas that I found, I think, at one of the craft stores. So I just really love the colors. It was exactly the mood and the theme and the vibe that I was going for in this room, in this space. I liked the lighter blue and the darker turquoise that you can see kind of on the boats in the middle, and I liked those rosy pink colors. And there is some yellow flowers in there that just gave it a little bit of a pop. And because I wanted to do gold accents in the room, you can see some of the accessory pieces that I'm starting to pick out to also add to this space. And it's all based on that color scheme that I was able to pull from this piece of art. Also, behind the art piece, you can see that I've been able to test out some paint colors. So that's another great thing about having your color scheme right in front of you, is when you go to the paint store, you start looking at paint chips, you can pull from those colors and then really use that as a guide to choosing the rest of the colors for your walls, your tapestries, even rugs in your space, and furniture, and accessories. And another way that you can find inspiration for your color scheme, and you don't really have to go it alone, is to choose a kind of rug. You know, visit a Persian rug store, or maybe you have another rug store nearby that you'd like to visit, or maybe you have a rug in your home that you really like and you would like to use that as the guide for your color scheme. So you could just use, you know, some of the neutral tones that are in the rug to be the neutrals in your room, and choose, you know, 1 to 3 of the brighter colors and really build your room color scheme on that. Third, another idea would to just get a fabric swatch. So if you have no idea where to start with your color scheme, you can literally go to the craft store, go to your nearby fabric store, you know, search all the aisles. You can find monochromatic, analogous, tertiary, I should say complementary, and those triad-based color schemes in these fabrics. So that can be another way where you don't have to reinvent the wheel. You can get a sample piece, or just, you know, buy a quarter yard of the fabric, take that home, and then when you're going to all your other distributors, your paint shop, you can use that as your guide for picking out your other fabric and accessories, and also finishes. That is about all I have for a little starting discussion on how to go about choosing the colors for your space, finding a cohesive, harmonious theme for your room that exudes your mood, the mood that you're going for in your space, and also, you know, just brings the room together. And if you would like to learn more, I am starting a program. It's called 4 Weeks to Fabulous. We're going to delve way more into color schemes, how you can go about choosing your own. If you have an idea for a color scheme and you're just wanting to see it in action, like see it on a mood board, see it on a 3D furniture layout in your space, that's something that I'm going to be including in the 4 Weeks to Fabulous. So really, it's going to be incorporating your ideas, because I know you all have your own creative inspiration and your creative ideas for your space, and I'm just more going to be assisting you with more of the technical details, maybe bringing it all together, or filling in any holes that you have in your design. So thank you so much for joining me today, and I hope that you can check out 4 Weeks of Fabulous. I'll put the link below. It's going to be really fun to help you get your project either off the ground if you're just starting, or to help you finish up a project in 4 weeks, at least for the planning, and then I'm going to offer 4 extra weeks of support and just accountability to make sure that you are going through a step-by-step process to get your project completed. Thanks so much, and hope you all have a wonderful day.